Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I want to talk on following the rules and or the lack of following the rules. And um, it's an important thing. Uh, you have policy, you know, different companies, different. Me, I have my own policy, and and um, you have regulations, you have laws. Here in the United States, we got the Constitution, so there's rules come in all different fashions, and it's it's important that you understand why we have these. And the thing is, I'm an exception to a lot, and I'm no different than you. The reality is, we all do things that make us an exception. Now, there's things you have to understand. There's people that are bad. There's people that are just pure evil. There's good people. There's obedient people. And this is what I want to talk about. By now, if you've been keeping up with me, you know I'm not obedient. That's not one of my strong points. And I try to learn rules and regulations and laws to a point. In other words, the main thing, that's why I push morals so much, because morals has that's my strong point. That's the first thing that I go by is morals. So whatever the rules, regulations, laws, whatever any of this stuff is, goes second to the morals, and that's for me. I try to stay as morally tight as possible, and it's not easy. It's very, very difficult. That's why there's so many immoral people. It is hard to be moral. And I've talked about going to Vietnam. 18 years old, you're trying to work on morals. We've been taught morals when we're younger, and trying to stay by them is not that easy. And in Vietnam, the Marine Corps taught us how to kill people, and then they tell us, just before we go, just before we went to Vietnam, they said we are under no obligation to take immoral orders. And then they send you off to kill people. So, it's difficult. And so I've put my morals to the test a lot. And so that's why I have less delay time when I have to act. Because I have tested my morals. I know what's going to happen, so I just do it. And then now the thing I love about the Constitution really was based on morals. That's why I say that you have to have an understanding of the Christian beliefs so you understand the Constitution. Then you have people such as Obama, and the way I understand, he studied the Constitution, but he didn't study it to be strong with the Constitution. He studied it to get around the Constitution, how to destroy it, and that's one way. When people look at rules and regulations, stuff like that, they sometimes the people have the intent to destroy it. That's why they want to learn it and understand it. For me personally, I understand why they have rules, regulations, policies, laws. I understand that. And what it is to keep the bad, evil people in check. So that's why I say I'm exempt from a lot of it, just like you're exempt from a lot of these. And so when you try to live your life right on the laws and the regulations and the rules and stuff like that, you're going to spend a lot of your time trying to learn this stuff and trying to stay in line. In other words, they want you to stand in line and be like everybody else. That's why they do this. But the main thing was to keep the criminal type people from getting out of line. That's the main reason why they have that. And this is something you have to understand. That's why I'm saying we are not always obligated to these rules, regulations, and all that stuff. And like I say, I've gone to court a lot of times. I've made videos about it. I've never been prosecuted for anything, guilty for anything or something like that. Just about all of them, they dismissed it. And why? Because I didn't really do anything immoral. I might have broke the law, but the law really wasn't implied to me at that particular situation. And to find this out, to learn all this, it's taken me years and years. And getting out of my comfort zone is what does that. That's why I'm saying when I travel outside the United States, you think I know all their laws and all their whatever? I don't. You know what I mean? So, but I still do well. And because, like I say, I'm moral. It's surprising, like I say, in the United States, really the United States was based on moral people. That's why we have the Constitution. And like I say, laws were supposed to be made by moral people. These are elected officials. And now these lawmakers have, through the years, this is why I've always liked to have a time limit on laws. I don't like a law that's going to stay on the books forever. I want them to have a time limit on it, so then it drops off. Because these lawmakers aren't as, I was under the impression the wiser ones, the smarter ones of the population are the ones that become lawmakers and public officials. Through experience and years, I've learned that's not the case. They're politicians. They don't understand they serve we the people. And we the people, talking about we the people, are strong, or we're individuals. We are strong individuals. So that's why they can make these laws, but they have to look at them individually when they're applied. And this is something that's why judges need to be some of the wiser ones among us. And so what I'm getting after is obeying all these different rules is not that doesn't make you a good person. A matter of fact, it makes you, if you are an American, you will not be a true American, because a true American isn't guided by laws. It's right back to the morals. We try our best to do the morally proper thing. And the people that try not to, that's the criminal type. I mean, they don't even do it. They don't try to get along as part of the society. So, but anyway, you need to understand we as individuals have rights. That's what's good about the Constitution. And when you understand Christianity, then you also understand we have other obligations. That's why you hear me talk about God first, we the people, and then the Constitution. Even as good and as honorable as the Constitution is, you still can't put that above the people or God. So, in other words, to be a good, strong, true American, God has to be first. You're serving Him. And then we serve the people. And then we serve the Constitution. And the Constitution was made pretty simple. And it didn't go into a lot of detail because they knew it was over the individuals, strong individuals. So keep that in mind when you are trying to obey the law and this type of stuff. And you might want to think about having your own policy. I mean, every company's got their policy. That doesn't mean it's right. And the ones that work for these companies don't always understand that policy is flexible. And I got my policy, and it's flexible. Sometimes I have to change it, but there's certain guidelines. They're my guidelines, and that's what it is for these companies. But a lot of times they forget they're serving us also. Serving we the people is a big deal, and it's a big deal for the country, our government officials, companies, and you and I. This is Mike. NoStressMike.com.